Hi everyone, Angela here with ElaCateDesigns, and I am here to show you my newest journal that I just finished. This one is called Blush and Bashful. If you've ever seen Steel Magnolias, you know why I called it this. If you do not like pink, you will not like this journal, so let me just preface that. Now, while this is not a Valentine's journal per se, it very well could be, just because of the simple fact it's pink and there's lots of flowers and roses and there are some hearts in there. So it measures 8 7/8 by 6.5, and there's a 3-inch spine, and it is 3 signatures that have been stitched in. Now I do have a spine charm that I made, and on it there are a few of these mixed media beads that I made, and the idea for these came from Nick the Booksmith, which she had watched a video from Pink Poodle Crafts that had done these, and I think Pink Poodle Crafts, I think her name's Stacy, she got the idea from somebody else, but this is my take on those. It's got a little rose charm and some jingle bells, some pink and rose colored beads, vintage key, and some little pearls, and then it's baker's twine and embroidery floss and ribbons and fabric and tulle, and the top bow here is what's tied through the eyelet, and then this clips on with a lobster clasp. So if you don't like this all can be removed. So my inspiration for this journal came primarily from Nick the Booksmith, as well as Michelle Mooney, who is the Paper Addiction here on YouTube. So you'll see her inspiration on the cover. I didn't have like Tim Holtz tissue paper or Seven Gypsies tissue paper, so I just made my own with my own stamps and such. And then the flower that's on the cover has all been hand colored. I use white or ivory flowers, and then I color them with my alcohol markers. And then this one I also sprayed some Lindy sprays. So I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but there is some glitter and some shimmer. The closure is just this cotton, I guess it's cotton, ribbon that I colored with some archival ink, actually, and it's a really light corally peachy pinky blush color. So there is a lot going on in this journal. It is 150 plus pages. There's more than 50 additional tags and journaling cards. I've got 6 of my flower clips, I've got 2 heart clips, and 7 fabric and fiber topped clips as well. Coffee dyed and tea dyed pages, and the digital images and ephemera came from Tsunami Rose Designs, as well as Ephemera's Vintage Garden. The inside is fabric lined, and it's all been sewn. Alright, so it's one of my flower clips, and ephemera from Tsunami Rose. All of the ephemera and journaling cards have all been inked, but are blank on the back, obviously, for journaling. There is a ton of blank pages in here for journaling and whatnot. This is Tsunami Rose, and this is the only vintage lady image I have in here, and that's because she just was perfect for it with her pink dress, and I just loved it. This is the fabric and fiber clips. I've got a pocket here, and this ticket is Tsunami Rose, and there's just some cheesecloth. In the pocket is some ephemera from Tsunami Rose, and I did sew around that one. This is a little envelope from Tsunami Rose. This is Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And then the tags that I have in here, normally I do large, like fibers and ribbons and bows and all that kind of stuff on the top of my tags, but as this journal came together, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and there was literally no room for a lot of what I was planning on doing in this journal. So I had to compromise, and some of the tags have flowers on them. The others just have some pink hole reinforcers, and I did some corner punching on them. I did some of my sewn ruffles, and this fabric here is this kind of brown linen, and then I inked it with some archival ink, and I used the Rose Madder archival ink throughout this whole journal. You'll see that one, and then obviously for the other inks it was Vintage Photo and Tea Dye and a third one, I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, continuing on. Lots of journaling spaces, fold out. These here are kind of homemade-ish craft bags. So when I was making the cover, I had made an acrylic paint and glaze, and I had made way too much of it, and I didn't want to just waste it and throw it out. So I had some extra craft paper, and so I painted it and glued it and sewed it and stitched it and made these little pocket bag thingy-majiggies. This one just has some lace on it, and inside is a large tag, and these ones do have my kind of normal fiber and fabric tops to them. And then they're blank. You can write on it or put a photo or whatever you'd like there. Some graph paper, glassine bag, and there's Ephemera's Vintage Garden and Tsunami Rose. This is one of the little heart paper clips. It's a pink satin heart. That's from the Target dollar spot. And it's just holding on an envelope, and these envelopes are empty. That's the word. Like my brain right now. Good grief. For you to stick things in or use them elsewhere, whatever you would like. Center of the signature is just some coffee dyed music paper, and it's a large envelope which happens to be empty, but it's just got some ruffles and some flowers on it. The other side of the glassine bag, and this is Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Oh dear. And on the back I've just got a little bit of lace, cotton crocheted lace, and a flower. So like I said, lots of blank pages for journaling. The other side of that homemade bag, and this is an Ephemera's Vintage Garden printable. Another tag in the pocket. And this is a Tsunami Rose decoupage flower, and I've just got some coffee, not coffee stained, tea stained cheesecloth behind it. Struggling with the words. Some more ruffles, and on the pink ruffles they were a little too pink, and so I just took some tea dye ink and just kind of, you know, brushed it over with the applicator and kind of vintaged it up a bit there. Large pockets with Tsunami Rose, another one of my tags, and these have all been, the tags, the homemade tags have all been coffee dyed, the smaller ones. And this, like I said, some of them have flowers instead of the fibers, and I didn't do like buttons or flat back pearls like I ordinarily would in the middle of these little flowers because it was already so fat. So they are just plain. You could add to it if you would like. It's just this, I had to stop at some point with this book. And then this is Tsunami Rose. These in here were actually left over from another project, and so the stitching on them is this really, really light, pale kind of ice blue. But I was okay with having that little bit of contrast in here. And then this little flower bud that I got the idea from Sue Olson. And I know I said in a previous video, but I just want to reiterate that was one of her ideas that I totally scrap lifted. Also, Cameo Shop. That's right, I have Cameo Shop in this journal as well. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my tea. Oh my goodness. Okay. Cameo Shop. That is one of hers. More journaling, another flower clip with a large piece of ephemera and journaling card from Tsunami Rose. And we're just now finishing the first signature, guys. I'm sorry. Continuing on. Another large pocket. It's all been sewn. I did leave tails. I like that look. If you don't and you decide you need to have this journal, by all means, snip the tails off. In the pocket is mini envelope from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, a couple more of my tags, and another large journaling card from Tsunami Rose. And on the pocket, it is this little stamp from Ephemera's, from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And then behind it is some of that linen fabric that I've inked, and I've also stamped it with some script stamp just to give it some visual texture, so to speak. More journaling, Ephemera's Vintage Garden, Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I have a couple of these pink envelopes in here. On one side I left them plain because you can journal on them and whatnot. They've just got a journaling card inside. And these images are Ephemera's Vintage Garden as well. I just shrunk them down so that they would fit on these cards here. Another flower clip, and this has the gold satin heart on it instead of the pink one. This is another envelope. Another fold out. Some more of the ruffle. It's probably showing on camera a little more brown. The pink's not coming through because my lighting is crud. I'm in a basement, so I have no natural lighting. But it definitely has some of that rosy color going through it. Lots of different weights of paper in here that have all been coffee dyed. Center of this signature is a large envelope that's just held shut with one of my flower clips. And inside there are Tsunami Rose and Cameo Shop cards. Now, of course, on camera, I can never get the clips on and I fumble. Of course. So lots and lots and lots of journaling spots. Ephemera's Vintage Garden. The other side of that pink envelope with more Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And there is, whoops-a-daisies, can't get my fingers to work. Another journaling card from Cameo Shop. Another fold out, more graph paper, some more ruffles, large pocket, and it's got another large journaling card with a giant beautiful rose on it. Some more of my tags, and this is Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Also Ephemera's Vintage Garden. This is probably one of my all-time favorite images. I don't know why, but I just adore that image. Another large pocket with tags, Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and Cameo Shop all in there. Some more ruffles. Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Also Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and another little heart clip. Pink glassine bag with some Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Also Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Got another one of these homemade bags. Large tag and another flower rose image with some cheesecloth. There's a little bit of oranges and corals along with the pink in here. So I've got a very large flower paper clip on this one with some more tsunami rose, more Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and some of my homemade tags. Center of the signatures got some tags and Ephemera's Vintage Garden in there as well. Another tag and Cameo Shop and Ephemera's Vintage Garden all in this pocket here. And this is Tsunami Rose from the Life of Bloom kit, I believe. And it's just got some cheesecloth behind it. Another large tag and more Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Another fold out. So it's very stuffed, but all of it, almost all of it, is removable. And there is tons of space for writing, so. Music sheet, another flower clip, and another large Tsunami Rose piece of ephemera and journaling card. And another envelope on the back. And in the back pocket, we've got another one of those little stamps from Ephemera's Vintage Garden with some more of that linen that's been inked and stamped with the script stamp. And then we've got more tags and Ephemera's Vintage Garden journaling cards in there as well. I'm laughing at myself because I put a paper clip there, but I didn't clip anything. So we're just going to scooch that over. All right, so that, my friends, is Blush and Bashful, or Pink and Pink. Mama, my colors are blush and bashful. Sorry. It's one of my mom and mine favorite movies that we've watched over and over together over the years, and it's one of those movies we can just sit there and quote it the entire time we're watching it. And so I digress. Thank you all for coming and spending some time with me and looking through this monster of a journal. I'm hoping to have this listed up on my Etsy shop within the next day or two, so if you are interested, I will put the links below on that. And thanks again. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.